Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning into episode 578 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. As always, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording, you are very, very welcome. We have some comments. We have a comment from Perfumed by the Sea, who says, afternoon, still working, but thankfully it's quiet. Good to hear. Scent of the day is, MX, I never really know how you meant to say that, by Eris Parfum, beautiful in this humidity. And Perfumed by the Sea, I should say, I think I've managed to disable a certain something, because your comment, Perfumed by the Sea, has come up with this new top fans commenting leaderboard that YouTube seem to have devised in their wisdom, where basically, I think it effectively pits viewers against each other, and whoever comments more gets to the top of the leaderboard. And I just thought this is not what we're about on this channel, you know, trying to out comment each other and trying to encourage people to comment just for the sake of commenting so that they get onto some sort of a leaderboard. So I think I have disabled it. We will see how we go. I would imagine there isn't going to be an overwhelming outcry from a lot of you asking me to reinstate it, because yes, that's probably the kind of thing that suits other channels. Gichunk is here as well saying hello. Gavin says it's Friday. Friday, got to get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Absolutely. Yvette is here as well. Omar says looks enabled to me. Well, see how it goes. At the moment, I'm just getting... Let me just quickly do this. I know we need to move on to the perfume review. Oh no, it is enabled. Ugh, this is so ridiculous. Maybe it'll be disabled for the next one. Maybe I disabled it too late. So let's just ignore that. We're not interested in who the top fans are. We'll just carry on as normal. Nothing like a bit of competition while watching perfume reviews, says EB. Yeah, wrong sort of competition, I think. Okay, we have come to the end of what we could rather pretentiously, I think, call the summer season, or this year's season, or the first part of the year season of Love at First Scent. The plan for today is to do 2 videos back to back. I'm ignoring comments about the leaderboard, okay? We're not going down that rabbit hole. The plan for today is to do a super quick review of this new one from Guerlain Vetiver Fauve, and then to come back with a top 10, a bit of a fun but hopefully interesting top 10. And then I give myself a break from perfume stuff, and I don't do any videos for several weeks, mainly so I can actually give myself time to concentrate on other projects, so the sorts of things that have to go on the back burner. But maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. Okay, new from Guerlain, latest in their L'Art et la Matière collection, following on from Pêche Mirage earlier this year. This is Vetiver Fauve, credited to Delphine Jelk, and an unexpectedly controversial sort of release. I mean, we don't mind a little bit of controversy on this channel when it comes to the perfumes and the quality of the perfumes, as opposed to the number of people commenting on the leaderboard. I have, without naming names, because if people want to make their views public, then they are free to do so. But I have heard so many people describe this scent to me in the most critical, the most derogatory terms, saying they think it's an abomination, saying they think it's awful. I think we actually had a few disparaging comments about it in a previous video. And then also at the same time, I have had a few people get in touch with me saying, oh my goodness, have you tried the new Guerlain, the new Vetiver? You need to try it. It's really, really interesting. I think that is what we can call rather extreme polarization. They seem to be pushing this one, says Omar, seen ads for it. And Gavin says, yes, that was me. Yeah, I remember it was you. I mean, you did do that publicly, so I suppose we can refer to the fact that you weren't so keen on it. I believe the word barf, was it you that used the word barf, came up in yours? So I think the best thing to do is to just get going and smell it, because I'm going to try and keep this review on the brief side. We have a pre-sprayed blotter. So here we go. And now, we do need to do maybe just like 2 minutes worth of context, because a new Vetiver from Guerlain is a big deal simply because they have given us one of the most successful, one of the most highly regarded Vetivers of all time, right? The original Guerlain Vetiver, which came out, I should have checked this out before we started. I'm going to say late 50s, early 60s, but maybe somebody can help me out at some point. I'm not sure. Is it like 1961, something like that? Made by Jean-Paul Guerlain. Became one of the most successful Guerlain releases of all time. You know, the scent of 1,000 Frenchmen, and probably men who were from other countries. 1959, Omar. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought it may have been late 50s. Thank you. The very first perfume made by Jean-Paul Guerlain. And you know, then lots of other brands tried to have their own similar sort of vetiver. The charm of Guerlain's original vetiver is that it's actually quite uncomplicated and quite simple, and just lets vetiver be vetiver. Clearly, indisputably, it's been reformulated since 1959. It would have to have been reformulated since 1959. And Guerlain have done various different versions of it as well. They did a vetiver pour elle some time ago, which was really, really beautiful. There was a glacé version of the original vetiver, and then, was it last year or was it earlier this year? I think it was, maybe it was late last year, I can't remember. They did a no, it was last year, wasn't it? They did a parfum version of vetiver, also by Delphine Jelk, which was really beautiful. The best of the 3 parfum iterations that they released then. They did an Habit Rouge, they did a L'Homme Idéal, and they did a vetiver. Now, okay, this vetiver is not trying to ride on the coattails of those other vetivers. It's not meant to be, you know, part of the original vetiver lineup. It's from the L'Art à la Matière collection, but nevertheless, it is a Guerlain vetiver, and so it is bound to be compared to that one, and it is bound to get people saying, why do we need a different new vetiver from Guerlain? Here we go. Vetiver Fauve. Gavin says, Bathtown butter pineapple and dairy, figs milky notes with grass notes, an Aventus flanker, a Vetiventus Fauve. Now see, I get what you're saying, but I don't get that Aventusishness. Anyway, what do we get? Because Aventus I can't stand. And this one I actually think is rather attractive, but we'll get more into my response to it later on. This vetiver is not even a vetiver, says Mitra. Oh, see, now I can't agree with you there. Why do you say it's not a vetiver? Because, you know, I do value what all of you say and what all of you write. No, you need to tell us more, Mitra. Why is it not a vetiver? So, what you get is quite bulbous, humid, tropical, dewy fruit notes. Yes, I suppose there's a kind of pineapple in there, and also a lot of fig, but I don't think that actually each one stands out, or either stands out discreetly, discrete, D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E, discreetly. It's quite an interesting, quite a well done accord of tropicality, of jungleness. But then, very, very, very soon, you get the vetiver coming through. And I think there is a lot of it here. Mitra says, because it's so much fruit and there is no woody or nutty facets of vetiver. Okay, well, fine. And I appreciate these different views, but I guess this is going to be a case of us having to disagree, because I think it does become quite woody. I've got pre-sprayed blotter. So, but that's interesting. This is all interesting, and that's why it's fun doing it live, because we get these different takes on it, and that's why it helps when it's a perfume that lots of people have smelled. Matthew says, I have to try this as soon as possible, although it's not readily available where I live. Well, I hope you do manage to get it. Gavin says, I hate it, but I think it will be huge, huge, says Gavin. Yeah, I wonder. I will be very, very interested to find out how it does. Zam Bowman says, hello from LA. I love the name of this fragrance, but won't be going out of my way to sample it. Guerlains are hard to find, even here in LA. Now, fauve, I think in this context, does it mean wild? Does it sort of mean savage, as in like a jungle, because the whole inspiration for it is a jungle. Omar says, does Madame P hate it? That's how you know it's a vetiver. Yes. See, I think it's sufficiently vetiverish for me to have been worried about spraying it in front of her. But maybe we will try this. I will try this, and then I will report back in the blog post on persolaise.com that will go with this video, that should be up, I don't know, maybe in the next 4 or 5 days or so. Gichunk says, the original is the standard and a masterpiece also for me, and I'm not a vetiver lover. This is an easy-to-love vetiver. See, I think it's, I wouldn't say easy to love, but I think it's easy to get, and it's very accessible. Mitra says, the world is beautiful because we have different opinions, otherwise it would be so boring, Mr. P. I absolutely agree. Anyway, see, I get woodiness. What I don't get is maybe an especially marked licorice facet. I get a little bit of nuttiness, and I actually think that this sort of blending of these jungle-like, I'm going to say the word moist, because that's, you know, I think it's more apt than humid here, although humid is quite an interesting one. This is very, very kind of before the thunderstorm type vetiver. And it's got a very, very convincingly muggy feel to it. And I like the fact that it's tending towards the abstract. Gavin says, the most common association of Fauvism is Fauvism, which is a post-impressionistic art movement, really means wild. Ah, okay. Yes, now that you say it, I think I was aware of that. Anyway, press release. Vetiver Fauve, the new EDP. Guerlain's Vetiver Fauve is a bold reinterpretation of vetiver. I mean, they've got to say things like bold, haven't they? Plunging into a lush jungle landscape. Lush is a good word, actually. This fresh, woody sillage evokes a wild world where nature reigns supreme. Taking cues from the awakening of a jungle at early morning, Vetiver Fauve reveals an unexpected freshness. Vetiver Root reveals, 2 reveals in 2 sentences, running around one after the other, reveals an untamable character teeming with captivating scents. A tropical green accord awakens the senses, while fig and sun-soaked pineapple bring comfortable roundness. See, I said bulbous because it has got this kind of roundness of tropical fruit feel to it. A vibrant tonka bean and cypriol duo sustain the woody nuances. And then they've got a weird tagline that says, how will Vetiver Fauve inspire your next awakening? Bit naff, really, but anyway. It is, of course, as fiendishly and horrifically expensive as all the other La Matières. I mean, all of that side of things, as we know, is rather ridiculous with this range. Yvette says, love the t-shirt. Thank you very much. The t-shirt will make sense if you stick around for the next video. I concede this is not a very Guerlain Vetiver Fauve t-shirt. Kermit is green. But it will make sense. It will make sense in the next video. What are you folks saying? Omar says, would it have worked better as a mainstream masculine release, or is it niche enough for a La Matière? See, I can't even get into those sorts of discussions about, I don't even know what makes niche anymore. Mitra says, moistiver. Yes, I think it should be called moistiver. Or maybe it should have been called moistiverish. No, maybe not. A subtle foreshadowing shirt says, my dear Rory, yes, not so subtle. Pre-sprayed. We need to do pre-sprayed before otherwise this video will carry on forever. Okay, this was sprayed 3.5, 4 hours ago, something like that. To me, it is woody. Now, we will end on this thought. When I sprayed it on skin, I got a little bit worried because I thought, ooh, this is going to go swampy and boiled oniony in the way that some vetivers go on me. And I started thinking that this may be one of those vetivers that I quite like to smell and that I think is interesting, but that I will never be able to wear. Because I do struggle with some vetivers, you know, like Sycamore is one of the sort of the saddest things in my collection because I adore it. I love that, the interaction between the sandalwood and the vetiver there, but I just can't wear it. I can't wear it. I suspect this is going to be one of the ones that I can't wear either. I will give it another go. But to me, it is woody, and the tropicalness, the tropical fruitiness has gone away, and I think Cypriol actually is relevant here. They cited Cypriol, haven't they? That kind of burnt woody feel that you also get in the use of Cypriol in Dior's original Leather Oud by François Demachy. It is interesting. It is interesting. I don't think it is the abomination that some people have made out, but let us see how it fares over the course of the next few weeks and months. Okay, quick video done. We will be back in a few moments with our top 10 to round off the season. So thank you very much for watching this one. See you in a bit. Bye now.